Kweku Ananse, the spider, a name that many can relate to, a fascination that goes back several years, from the West Indies, Suriname, Sierra Leone, where they were introduced by Jamaican Maroons. The story of Kweku Ananse is one that goes back many centuries. Spider tales are found extensively throughout Africa, but the Anansi tales originated from the Ghanaian people of West Africa and are among the best known folklore, as Anansi's name comes from the word in the Akan language for spider. Anansi is depicted in many different ways and with different names, from Anansi or Kweku Ananse and Anansi to his New World iterations such as Ba Anansi, Kompa Nansi, Nansi and Sis Nansi. The folklore surrounding Anansi appears to be quite extensive in the African communities throughout the Americas, where he is often associated with the spider or the rabbit. While often depicted as an animal, Anansi has many representations, not only acting as a man but appearing as one. In others, Anansi is an anthropomorphized spider with a human face, or a human with spider-like features, such as 8 legs. Anansi also has a name in several folk tales involving himself, consisting of his long-suffering wife, Okonoreya, known in other regions as Aso, Kruki, or Shi-Maria, his child Intikuma, who happens to be his firstborn son, Tikelinkele, his big-headed son, Nankonhia, his son with a spindly neck and spindly legs, and finally, Efoshide, his pot-bellied son. Anansi also has a beautiful daughter named Anansiwa in other tales, like those introduced in the work of Ifo Sutherland. In Ifo's tale, Anansi embarks on a mission to ensure that Anansiwa can have an appropriate suitor. Anansi's stories were part of an exclusively oral tradition, and Anansi himself was seen as synonymous with skill and wisdom in speech. There are many narratives of power in the life of Anansi. He is credited in some stories with the creation of the sun, the moon, the stars, and the planets. In others, it is said that Anansi is the one who brought writing, agriculture, and hunting to earth, teaching humans in the process how to take care of themselves in a world surrounded by bountiful fields and forests. So smart was Anansi, according to one narrative, that he collected all the wisdom of the world in a calabash to hold for himself, because he did not trust humans with such potent knowledge and wisdom. However, the wisdom kept spilling out of the calabash, and he soon saw how futile it was for one person to try to know everything and to hold it for himself. In fact, it is far better, as Anansi understood later, for knowledge and wisdom to be distributed among all people. So that is exactly what he did. Anansi is often depicted in popular tales interacting with the Supreme Being and other deities who frequently bestow him with temporary supernatural powers, such as the ability to bring rain or to have other duties performed for him. Some folkloric traditions portray Anansi as the son of the Mother Earth, or as popularly called Asaseya. Stories of Anansi became such a prominent and familiar part of Ashanti oral culture that they eventually encompassed many kinds of fables, evidenced by the work of Robert Sutherland Rathray, who recorded many of these tales in both the English and Twi languages, as well as the work of scholar Peggy Aqua. So well known is he that he has given his name to the whole rich traditions of tales on which so many Ghanaian children and children of Afro-Caribbean origins in the diaspora are brought up. Anansesem, as it is popularly called, or spider tales. In similar fashion, oral tradition is what introduced Anansi tales to the rest of the world, especially the Caribbean, via the people that were enslaved during the transatlantic slave trade. As a result, the importance of Anansi socially did not diminish when slaves were brought to the New World. Instead, Anansi was often celebrated as a symbol of slave resistance and survival, because Anansi is able to turn the tables on his powerful oppressors by using his cunning nature and trickery, a model of behavior used by slaves to gain the upper hand within the confines of the plantation power structure. Anansi is also believed to have played a multifunctional role in the slaves' lives, as well as inspiring strategies of resistance. The tales enabled enslaved Africans to establish a sense of continuity with their African past and offered them the means to transform and assert their identity within the boundaries of captivity. As historian Lawrence W. Levine argues in his book Black Culture and Consciousness, enslaved Africans in the New World devoted the structure and message of their tales to the compulsions and needs of their present situation. The Jamaican versions of these stories are some of the most well preserved, because Jamaica had the largest concentration of enslaved Ashantis in the Americas, and akin to their Ashantis origins, each carry their own proverbs at the end. However, like Anansi's penchant for ingenuity, Anansi's presence in the diaspora saw the trickster figure reinvented through a multi-ethnic exchange that transcended its African Ashanti origins, typified in the diversity of the names attributed to these Anansi stories, from the Anansi Tori to the Kweku Ananse. Even the character T. Buki, the buffoon constantly harassed by T. Malice or Uncle Mischief, a Haitian trickster, is associated with Anansi. Buki itself is a word descending from the Wolof language that also references a particular folk animal, the hyena, which is indigenous to the Wolof people. The Wolof, an ethnic group that can be found today in northwestern Senegal, the Gambia and southwestern coastal Mauritania. The same applies to Anansi's role in the lives of Africans beyond the era of slavery. New World Anansi tales just entertain as much as they instruct, highlighting his avarice and other flaws alongside his cleverness, and feature the mundane just as much as they do the subversive. Anansi becomes both an ideal to be inspired toward and a cautionary tale against the selfish desires that can cause our own undoing. Anansi has effectively evolved beyond the mere trickster figure. The wealth of narratives and social influences have as a result led to him being considered a classical hero of our times. So, where are you watching this from today? And what stories of the spider did you learn growing up, either in the Caribbean or on the African continent, and wherever you may be, either in Europe or even North America? Like this page, share with your friends, and enjoy the knowledge of Anansi.